right, once again. So thank you to IEIA for bringing us to the series of webinars. We are on the 7th one today, and changing gears and diverting attention from the current world scenario, we come to the core of exhibition business, and that is sales. So it looks very challenging session to talk about sales in today's times, but there is a saying that when in war, prepare for peace. Makes it imperative to discuss this important topic that keeps our industry going on. So lifeline of any exhibition is its ability to do three things. So number one, create an amazing experience that captures the industry attention. Number two, construct a large audience of relevant visitors. And number three is sell stalls to exhibitors who want to participate in this opportunity, who are hungry to connect with our visitors and industry target. So before these exhibitors decide to participate, and by far and all of the exhibitors have mainly 5 prerequisite questions that they think of before they decide to participate in an exhibition. So number one is, will there be decision makers in the visitors for my products and services at your event? So that is number one. Number two, does your event understand the industry target audience and my product fits into that sector? So that means they're looking for focused shows. Third is, what is my return on opportunity? And fourth, can you help me justify the costs? What is the return on investment for participation? And number 5 is, what is the procedure for participating? And this relates to your website, your social media, your sales team, your marketing communication that forms entirely a part of this. So exhibitors will participate in your exhibitions if they get a feeling that this organizer gets it. So what is this gets it? So in today's session, I have 4 exhibition organizers from a top industry association, a private exhibition organizer, another private doing outbound exhibitions, and a German multinational to talk to us about sales management. And we'll try to touch on some of these points. So introducing quickly my panelists, Seema Srivastava, Executive Director, India ITME Society, and Master's degree in Economics and International Trade with 22 years experience in trade promotions, investments, and strategic management. Pranav Raval, graduate from pharma industry with PG in journalism. Since 1997, he's working with GPE and is responsible for the complete sales of their exhibitions and branding and sponsorships, etc., etc. And they are engaged in organizing international pharma exhibitions in Bangladesh, Malaysia, Nepal, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Jordan, and soon launching in Tunisia and Syria. Premal Mehta, also from Ahmedabad, Director of Akar Exhibitions Private Limited, have a variety of trade fairs that they organize: tent, catering, food trade, photo video, elevator and escalator, rubber tech, and beauty salon. And fourth, Michael Dehn, working in Messe Frankfurt since 1998, and since September 2018 is General Manager for Sales and Marketing of Messe Frankfurt Trade Fairs India Private Limited. They do about 20 exhibitions in India annually. So over to my first panelist, Seema. Can we start with your opening remarks on sales management? Seema? Hello, Seema. You were here with us some time back, Seema.
Yes. Thank you, Ashish, and good morning to everyone. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, rightly said in your opening remark, Ashish, that today we have a challenging time and we have to prepare ourselves for the change in the circumstances in which the exhibition organizer is operating. For an exhibition organizer, the most challenging aspect and a priority activity once we reopen fully would be completing the space selling. Though all of us are very anxious to return to normalcy, hard sales will not be well received immediately. We may have to strategize and revise our sales strategies to suit the need of this hour. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts on a few points. One is utilizing the current work from home time with regards to sales and keeping the sales team engaged and motivated. When to start selling an exhibition. Thirdly, how to catch the attention of decision makers of companies, both from exhibitor side and from the business visitor side. Importance of social media in sales, benefits of CRM in sales. First, let us just very quickly look at utilizing the current time fruitfully from home with regards to the sales and keeping the sales team engaged and motivated. One of the key things which we at our organization is doing at this moment is we are preparing and reinventing our sales pitch to address the concerns of exhibitors post-COVID by updating our selling points. Now, which in order to do this, it is very important as an exhibition organizer to fully participate in the industry information, the industry ups and downs, specifically in the segment where you are organizing your exhibition. We also keep close connect with the exhibitor companies, especially if they are repeat customers. And we are also following up for any government support schemes announced for the industry. Now, these are very important information which the sales team should have before they start their sales pitch, hard sales pitch. Also, a clear information on your expected visitor turnout and the efforts, the special efforts you as an organizer would make to mobilize the visitors to participate, to come to your event is also an important part of your sales narrative. As I was discussing, preparing and training your sales team to handle these queries pertaining especially to the small companies, the startup companies, the large multinationals, and new customers is very important. No matter how experienced and excellent your sales team are, it is very important that if there is a cooperative communication and all the team, including the operations team, are on the same page on what is your sales strategy. I feel that a motivated, energized, and well-prepared sales team will deliver faster results and better results once we are ready to go. Another question which always troubles an exhibition organizer is, when is the right time to start selling? Now, this is not related to these circumstances. In general, what is the right time to start hard selling of an event? It is important that the time plan is accurate, because if you start too soon, you will waste a lot of your energy and resources in in sales pitch and sales expenditure without a closure to the deal. And if you start too late, that is also trouble. So it has to be the right time, and this time plan depends heavily on the kind of show, size of show, and the geographical coverage of the exhibition. For example, if it is a regional show catering to local exhibitors and customers, depending on the size of the show, selling can start 6 to 8 months prior. Local exhibitors prefer, to close a deal probably 3 to 4 months prior to the event. I mean, when I say close the deal, it is not application form or a commitment to participate. I say the payments coming in. That is when in our organization we take as a confirmed sale. Then if it is an international show with many countries participating with very large sized stall, technicalities on the floor, it is advisable to start at least 1.5 to 2 years, which gives sufficient time, especially for the foreign participants, to plan their budget, plan their exhibits, and also make other arrangements. Conferences can be anywhere between 6 to 4 months. However, in all these circumstances, I would strongly recommend that the dates and information about the event should be shared well in advance. And if you are organizing multiple events a year, a calendar of the event should be available on your website and also with your repeat customers so that they can plan well in advance. This is also an important aspect. This information being available very clearly and early enough before you start your hard sale, so that the decision makers can mark their diaries and be informed about these events, upcoming events, and probably that is also um, uh, a good strategy to ensure that the decision makers are having sufficient time and notice to come to your event. Apart from that, designing special visit time or day with customized program for senior management at the event and sending personalized invitation is a sure way of getting them in. So when I'm saying that customized program, example is concurrent conferences with topics pertaining to, the senior management with a good eminent speaker panelist, and also opportunity for the exhibitors to make presentations, definitely will ensure that the senior people come for presentation. And if a senior people come, a senior audience also will have senior attendees to listen. The other key point for getting a good collection of relevant people into the event is the social media presence, using the right channel effectively in getting the attention of decision makers, especially I would say Facebook and LinkedIn. The survey says that 84% of CEOs and VPs say that they use social media to get information and use these information to help them make purchasing decisions. So it is important. Social, this itself shows, if you get the attention of the top bracket, it shows that how important is social media in sales and return on investment. Today, more than 3 billion people use social media. We exhibition organizers, or the exhibition industry, is people's industry, and it is the biggest freely available network of people. 60% marketing companies use social medias for lead generation, and 90% of these marketing companies admit that they get increased exposure through social media. 70% of business to consumer marketeers have acquired customers through Facebook. As I already shared with you, 84% of CEOs and senior management use social media for their purchasing decision to get more information. Also, another very important aspect for me as an organizer is to keep my promotional advertisement cost very tight, because that is one of the largest expenditure uh, which we incur after the venue rentals. By boosting the right social media post, you can bring 10 times traffic at a fraction of cost of targeted Google ads. For example, I'll share with you, very recently we concluded our Africa event where we used targeted Facebook promotions in Africa. The total cost which I incurred per day was approximately 12.5 US dollars, whereby each day I could connect to approximately 41,000 people per day. I ran this special campaign on Facebook for 8 days prior to my event, and the only total cost I incurred was $100. So it was very effective. I could connect to the right people. I could very subtly invite them to the event by generating the interest. And many of them responded as well. The key social media, there are many social media channels which can be used, but Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, blogs, Instagram are very good for utilization. However, one word of caution as an organizer: if you are not well planned to use your social media, you will end up wasting time and money for very little or no tangible return. Also, we have to be very cautious about the content we put out there, because a wrong information accidentally posted or negative reviews posted by others will spread wrong kind of information.
So, Seema ji, thank you so much. I think we have got a lot of inputs. I will be coming back to you again. Sorry to cut you off in the middle. I want to move to Premal, who's going to talk to us about pricing for successful sales and something about return on investment. So, can I invite Premal to share his views on these very, very important topics? Premal, over to you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Am I audible, Ashish? Am I audible? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ashish, for inviting me. We're talking about pricing for successful exhibition, or let's say fair pricing for a successful exhibition. We can try to understand what factors are influencing the pricing of an expo. We are all, all the organizers are always in dilemma of fixing a fair rate or the discount structure for an exhibition, and what factors are affecting those pricing. We've seen some exhibition organizers are charging X amount for an expo happening at some venue, and other exhibition organizers are charging twice as much the rate for the exhibition happening at the same venue. So why is this price difference? What is making it so hard for one exhibition organizers to reach some rate, and the other exhibition organizers easily charging twice as much rate and is still booking the entire space? So what is this? What are the factors affecting this difference? Let's talk about these factors from my perception. Some factors may be in our control, maybe in the control of the organizers, and some are partially out of our hands, as they're depending on the consideration of potential participants. Major factors which I think the influencing the pricing of a successful exhibition are cost of the exhibition, the competition of the expo, and the value of the expo. Cost of the exhibition depends on the venue rentals, as Seema ji rightly said. Venue rental is one of the major factor of an exhibition, the cost of the exhibition. The size of the team working on the event, organizer services, visitors promotion, registration and database procuring, concurrent workshops, seminars, networking meets, and marketing promotion, which is again a very major factor affecting the cost of the exhibition to an organizer. Some of these factors are partially in our control, and we can control the cost of this exhibition. Higher the cost to the organizer, higher the rate of participation for the participants. So to keep the fair pricing for the participants, I suggest as an organizer, we should keep our major expenses in check. Wherever we got, wherever the cost is in our hands, and create overall a great experience, but at minimum cost to the participant or minimum cost on the exhibition. The other factor which affects the pricing of the expo is competition. Stiff competition can influence the exhibition pricing up to some extent. It forces the the organizers to either offer freebies or give higher discounts for bulk buying. Competition may affect the pricing of exhibition, but cannot be ignored completely. I mean, you cannot ignore the competition completely and its effect on the pricing. This leads to the point which has got major influence. The major price difference we already seen in the exhibitions. The major point is the value of the expo. The value of the expo has got a very big influence on the pricing of the exhibition. The value perception changes. It is depending on the client, on the participant. For instance, you go to buy a vehicle in the market. Same pricing vehicle, you want a luxurious vehicle or you want a vehicle which has got better mileage. But what if the luxurious vehicle is twice as much the cost? So it depends on your perception, on your value perception. If you want a luxury vehicle, you as such going to buy the vehicle which is twice as much expensive because you want it. That's what you are looking for. This is the same thing with our exhibition. Participants connect to their ROI, return of investment, to an expo and perceive the price as being fair or unfair. Competition and cost can be apparent, but value is a force behind participants' decision making and is definitely a variable factor. Usually it's seen the investment of a participant is just 35 to 40% for the space which is paid to an organizer. The rest of the expenses goes behind their transportation, lodging, boarding, food, booth construction. So it's just 35 to 40% of cost for the organizers. I mean, the payment to the organizers. There should not be a major problem if the value is right, the value perception is right for the exhibition. The participant can give, may not be, discussing much about the pricing. To increase the value perception, we have to deliver more than what we are being paid. We should create a brand which is bigger than the brands participating in the exhibition, eventually boosting the value perception of the expo. We can also increase the value of the exhibition by getting industry leaders as major sponsors or exhibitors and inviting leading trade associations to support the expo. The size of the expo can also influence the value of the exhibition. Small exhibition has got smaller value and a large exhibition has got much larger value. I'm sure everyone agrees to that. If exhibition can satisfy the goals set by participants from the expo, the pricing should not be a problem for them. To decide the fair price, I think so organizers should calculate the cost of the exhibition, the competition which is around us, and the value of the exhibition in the eyes of the participants. The higher the value, they don't mind paying you higher. So if the, yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Premal. I'll come back to you on this pricing and return on investment. I have another panelist who's taking about who does outbound shows. Pranav, can I request you to put in your remarks on sales management for trade fairs? So, Pranav, please, over to you.
Yeah. Good morning to everyone. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, audible.
Thank you. See, basically, there is no professional school or training classes where someone gets some diploma on how to book a booth or how to sell an exhibition space. Even though throughout the world, there are thousands of exhibitions are being organized and booth space are being sold. Today, basically, I want to represent not a conventional sales management or the booking of the booth or the procedure. If we can apply something off track and on humanity basis as a customer approach for the overall exhibition sales management. First of all, suppose I want to, or anyone wants to present own show, exhibition to an exhibitor as a successful show, how you can represent? It's a good big flower bouquet to represent to him. The first thing is basically we have to educate him about the industry. What is the status, local surrounding? What is any special package offered by the government or the trade body? What is the size of the exhibition and the industry? What are the how many number of units and buyers are existing? What is the growth? Whether it is expected 5% or more, and what is the short term and medium term future in terms of investment and expansion? And above all, the important thing, who is your local partner over there, whether it's a domestic show or international, because it makes a lot difference. If it is a standalone show, people, they will not trust much more. If there is a supporting industries body, they will feel the ownership. This is our own show. Second bouquet portion is visitors. How many number of people they had, buyers they attended last time, which companies they attended, any delegations from the trade association or specific country they attended, and what was the total footfall during the 3 days, 5 days event. Another important portion is the exhibitors factor. How many exhibitors and which exhibiting companies they were there in your show, how many business deals they were generated during the show, how it was offering the business trade opportunity, what was the major attraction in the show, basically in terms of display or exhibit, like live demo of the machines or live trials. So this is the important thing. Now, any exhibition, it is a biggest platform for the publicity or the announcement by the government or the industry. So if any major policy or schemes are being announced during the inauguration session of your exhibition, it makes a lot difference, because the news becomes important for the industry and for the buyers. So they definitely attend the show. And all other related allied factors are like how many square meters it was spreaded across the field or the ground or the halls, what are the testimonials or the feedback from the buyers or the exhibitors, what is the next schedule during the ongoing show. If you announce on the second or third day, what is the schedule for the next show, that makes a more impact to the show. Because if you're getting the 50% of the booking during the ongoing show for the next show, it means that balance 30% are going to come back as a repeat clients, and the 20% they are fluctuating, but they are definitely going, because some people they are coming, going, new entries. So you can judge the 50% confirmation of the repeat booking during the show will ensure 80% of the total repeat participation, and you can achieve 100% of the total booking for the next show. Now, basically, when during the show we are approaching to the client for the next show, but what is the right time to approach them, to communicate them? Just before the show, like Seema ji conveyed, that there should be a certain timelines. I personally feel that continuous communication should be a part of the sales management. You should be involved with the communication with your exhibitors, your prospective companies, as well as the trade and industry, those who are your visitors. Because sales call is not a one-time plug and play matter. It happens like any other department for any good company or big company, like HR. Somebody is running away from the company, HR manager cannot pluck one person from the industry. He has to monitor the boy or girl who are working very good in the industry. He should be in touch, then he can bring. Similarly, for accounts department, suppose it's not a work of March ending to settle down the balance sheet. They have to recorrect, they have to apply the policies as per the government guideline round the year. So same thing for sales also, it's a long-term process, round the year communication with the exhibitor, prospective company and trade. Because the role played by any exhibition organizer, it's not to provide 3 days platform for exhibition. It is basically any organizer has to act as a catalyst basically for the industry as a partner. Because for successful sales management, continuous communication process is appearing as a partner of the industry, which enhance one-to-one contact with the client companies, which also maintain the bonding of the industry with our exhibition. We can stay updated what our developments are happening, and we can receive the feedbacks basically to improvise our own features and services. We can have the communication by emailers, social media, advertisement in different trade publications, industry gatherings, different exhibitions, and personal visits, periodic visits and meetings. All these appears as a resulting factor. Exhibition sales becomes a total process, not a one-time, single-time sales call. Now, when we are meeting the exhibitors, narrowing down my previous point, every time we are not going to speak to the exhibitors that 9 square meter, 10 square meter, this company has booked, these are the rates, give me the payment. No, we should act for all other visits as a resourceful person for the company. Because in conventional sales, it happens give and take. You book the booth, allocate the space, collect the payment. That is one time thing. But if you are becoming a resourceful for any company, because that will, we can share the details about the updates, what is happening in the industry, regulatory policies. We can connect the inquiries from one company to other company, those who are searching for, or connecting the people, suppliers, because your client always expect you or us that they can learn something from us. Because see, for any client, any exhibitor, round the year, other than the exhibition days, they are busy with the fabricating their machines, chasing the payment from their client, handling their vendors. They do not have the time to get periodic update from the industry, regulatory, or whatever the new policies are being developed. So basically, the entire sales process becomes a surrogating selling. Round the year, we are in touch with them. Now, basically, I'll tell you, like Seema ji was saying, or the Mr. Premal was sharing the details about the price cutting and how we can offer them the information. I can give you an example. In India, state government and central government, they have the policy, basically schemes for a small and micro level companies. They encourage their participation in domestic, international, and they offer the financial support. Because normally people, our clients, they think that exhibition is a luxury. Exhibiting is a luxury. It's not a luxury. I personally feel it's a part and process of a business for any entrepreneur, because exhibition offers the opportunity to demonstrate their skills, new features. It generates the leads, business, orders, feedback, and acceptance in the market. And last, it gives the registration among the industry about the presence of our client. Because exhibition offers one-to-one exposure for our client on a large scale with controlled manner, budgeted expenditure.
Sorry to stop you, Pranavji. Whatever you're saying is very, very interesting. I will come back to you on that financial support, but I want to now give the mic to Michael Dehn from Messe Frankfurt. Michael is going to talk to us about hiring the right kind of people and sales attitude, nurturing and developing the sales team. So, Michael, over to you. Michael?
I'm trying to unmute him. Can you please check at your end as well, Mr. Michael?
Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter also. So yeah, let's talk about hiring the right talent. I think it's very important that, first of all, the first step is that you hire a good fit for your company's sales culture. We all know that there are those companies that have a more metrics and process-driven sales culture. And the other side, basically a more trust and relationship-driven sales culture. Now, process-driven salespeople, they would do things like daily call targets, discovery calls, conversion rates, CRM metrics, sales pitches. And in theory, they could sell almost anything to anyone. On the other hand, we have the more consultative sales approach. These are people who try to understand the industry, listen to their customers and understand them, and who would not necessarily maximize on the revenues, but on the long-term and sustainable relationships. Looking at our market, I'm sure you know examples of both of these extremes, and I guess each of us, we would fit somewhere in between. Now, when we want to nourish and develop our salespeople, I think it pays off to spend a lot of time on understanding the many, many layers of values that an exhibition can provide. It's almost like a Swiss Army knife that does a lot of things if you only know how to use it. And it really depends what you want to use it for. Now, the first question any client will ask is on the return of investment, and meaning the orders placed at the show. Obviously, we all know that most of the times it's not as simple as that, and also not for everyone. But when we expand on the many layers of direct and measurable as well as indirect and immeasurable benefits that an exhibition can provide, the ROI will certainly surpass the cost of the exhibition in the majority of cases, obviously. Now, being in consultative sales means that we first need to understand the client and his needs. The worst client is, of course, the client who doesn't know that himself, and they do exist. But for the remaining clients, it makes a difference whether they want to introduce a new product, they want to increase their sales, or they want to open a new market. And a good salesperson would approach the client in different ways about these different targets. After all, we are selling a promise for future business, and I would argue that's one of the hardest things to sell. Now, in the sales process, we should only under-promise and aim to over-deliver, which makes it all the more harder. If you get a client on board with the wrong expectation, it will surely fail. But before the sale is concluded, we are confronted with many objections. They range from the most common price objection to simple but polite brush-offs, or not now but maybe later, or call me after Diwali objections. In the sales process, we should only, so we need to deal with these objections in a way that we need to first understand, is it a serious objection that we need to solve? Is it a problem behind it that we need to solve? Or is it an objection that is just hiding the fact that the person doesn't really want to talk to me at the moment? Like, for example, if the owner of a company says, it's not in my budget, it surely doesn't mean that he could not fund the participation. It only means that I have not yet understood the benefits of the participation. You have to give me more information, and you have to sell it harder to me. When we talk about the price objection, it basically reflects a scale, and once you load one side of the scale with the price, you need to load the other side of the scale with the value. And only when the two balance out, the price objection will disappear. However, when you only have the price on one side and no value on the other, you cannot make that equation to balance. It's worth it to look at all the layers of value that an exhibition can provide, because that is actually the other side of the scale. Now, let's take a look at what we can do now in our lockdown situation. Of course, selling is much harder right now for many, many different reasons. Probably the prime reason is that people, first of all, are worrying about their business. And an exhibition, once the lockdown is over, will of course be one of the first things that jumpstarts people back into business. But right now it's a little hard to do sales. So there are three things that I would suggest to do. The first thing is you go back into your engine room of your exhibition, and you make sure that you look at everything. You turn around every stone. What is my concept, my product groups, my target groups? What is my product offering? How can I innovate here? The second thing is, of course, be in touch, build your relationships, and expand your network. There's nobody right now who wouldn't have 5 minutes to talk to you. People are at home. Some people really, they're happy to speak to somebody, and people have time to talk for sure. And the third thing, I think, as a team or as a company, is to be present with all sorts of initiatives online, be it with digital campaigns, or better still, a live event, a webinar, or a sourcing session, or any other live session. Although we all get webinar overload very soon, but there's still one thing that is true every time, and that is content always pulls people. if you have good content, you will always get a crowd. And with that, I would like to hand back over to Ashish.
Thank you, Michael. I just have a couple of questions for all our panelists. I come back to Seema. We left you out for a long time. Seema, you mentioned content on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter helps attract decision makers to come to exhibitions, but it's very important to be careful about this content. So can you elaborate? What kind of content should we be putting out on this Facebook or LinkedIn? Is it about the exhibition or is it about the industry? What do you suggest?
Well, it again depends on who you are targeting through your social media. Now, specifically, each channel would be utilized to, meet with specific end results, especially for if you are looking at Facebook and LinkedIn, where you are typically dealing with senior management level, and that is what you are targeting. My policy is usually I put out information about the benefits which you will derive from this particular event. That is including if I have B2B meetings, I have specific conferences, workshops, seminars. Also, I put out the big brands which are participating in the exhibition. So information, or we take the advertisement from these exhibitors who are already confirmed, and put out these social media promotions out for everyone to see, which is a sure short way to get good people in. Also we put out messages from senior exhibition participants, quotes and things like that, even government officials or association chairman, etc., which obviously when you have an association quote about the event and things like that, it definitely attracts better acceptance among the people. So this is how you would manage the messages.
Thank you, Seema ji. I move to Premal. You talked about increasing brand value of exhibitions as a key to selling. So, Mr. Premal, can I request you to give 2 or 3 suggestions that we can implement immediately to increase the brand value of our exhibitions? Something from your experience.
Yes, Ashish, thank you. Creating, the increase in the brand value. I mean, we need to we need to understand the return of investment of our participants. What are their goals? We should understand the goals set by our participants in our exhibition. If we meet the goals set by the participant, is definitely going to increase the brand value of the exhibition. Again, the visitors who are coming in, they are also coming to our exhibition with a definite frame of mind and for a business. We should understand the visitors as well. And if we match the goals of the exhibitors and visitors, is definitely going to boost the brand value of the exhibition.
Thank you very much, Premal. I want to come to Pranav. Pranav, you talked about financial assistance from the Indian government for micro and small medium companies. So can you tell us a little bit more about what is the amount of financial assistance, who gives it, how to apply for it, something in a very small summary manner. Pranav,
Okay.
can you help us on that?
See, basically this financial support worked out by the ministry, state or the central or the state, it's not to everyone. The eligibility is basically the company should be manufacturer, they should be falling under the small and micro level, something like that. And these schemes are basically routed through NSIC, a state industry commissioner, or the MSME DC, that is MSME development centers of every city. Exhibitors, prospective companies, they have to approach them directly, they have to submit their form, and they pass through their eligibility basically. Now, there is not a fixed amount is derived for this one. but they get some percentage, like 30-40% in the booth cost, booth designing cost. They get a lump sum amount, say 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, 15,000 for booth brochure printing. And if the participating company is owned by the women, then 100% subsidy is there. That is fixed by the ministry, central government and the state one.
So thank you, Pranav. I have one
Thank you.
last question for Michael. You were talking about hiring the right quality of salespeople. So when you are interviewing a candidate or putting out a request or for hiring people, what do you think we should look out for in a candidate before we hire them for the sales job?
For the sales job, what I'm looking for is quite different from most of the others. I look for personality and attitude among anything else. If somebody can convince me in an interview, and normally we interview together with my dear partner Winston, so we are really good at looking at people, and we have two perspectives, and that's where we focus on the impressions, as well as, of course, the combination with the CV and the background. But sales attitude is extremely important.
Good. So I think we have run out of time. There are a couple of questions which are coming. I don't know if we have time to take these questions. One person asked us that what tools are there or strategies to be adopted post-COVID? So I think, there is no special tools or strategies. I feel COVID is there, it will go away. It's like a change of attitude. How we used to go, straight to the aircraft earlier, then we had to come 1 hour early to the airport and then go for security check. So now maybe you will have to come 2 hours early to the airport and do a medical check and a security check as you fly out. So this is something that is a change in perspectives that all of us will ubiquitously be going. So with this, I just want to conclude our seminar, especially because we are running out of time. So what we understood is we are selling a promise of future delivery. And the more the exhibitors trust us, the better it will be to sell, and better to underpromise and overdeliver. So all of us are somewhere between the process-driven, report-driven sales and relationship-driven sales. I think it's going to be a combination of this. Data is the next goal. You have to constantly keep refining. CRM, social media, all tools. What should you be communicating? Hey, why not do a webinar for your captive exhibition industry, where you pick up their key issues and engage. You already have the database of all your visitors. So brand owners want to constantly engage with the audiences. So some of the things that could be a positive effect is that after COVID, companies are suffering financial problems, so maybe they're not able to deliver. So the buyers will start looking for new suppliers, or maybe suppliers who have ready stock. So this could be a key point in driving exhibition sales. So with this, I think we had a very, very good session. I'd like to give a big round of applause to my panelists, and thank you very much for joining. Stay at home and stay safe. And over to the next session, I think Sunil Govind will be handling operations right after we finish this. So I request Sunil to take over. And for the audience, please stay on and we move on to the next session on operations. Thank you very much for attending and joining us this morning.